Where's Bree?
Hey, Breeze is here. Welcome in to the sixth floor. Won't you shut up? I'm doing the intro. Welcome in to the Sixth Floor Podcast, the podcast about everything drafting the 80s. I'm Yap. Upper left is Sags. Lower left is Breeze. The bottom right with a hat on is Johnson. And it's been a while.
You got a hat on.
Fellas. You got a toboggan.
You got a hat on.
I do. But you shut up. All right, so it's been a while, but we need to get back at it. And Sags, the topic is yours. Care to explain today and give us the draft order?
Yeah, just went for a little, holiday themed thing, and I think all of our favorite movies, I think, is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, classic, obviously, and so I just thought we could draft lines or scenes from that movie. So I think it should be a fun pod. Oh, and the draft order is Yap, Breeze, Sags, John. No, Yap, Sags, Breeze, Johnson.
Oh, I'm first. I thought it was second.
Yes.
Okay.
I think. Hold on. I thought I was first.
I did too.
It is. Well, would you guys quit interrupting, please?
I'm glad to go first, but
Breeze, Yap, Sags, Johnson. I was close.
All right.
Hit it, Breeze.
And did we throw in the caveat that the rental car counter scene is out? Yeah. Because forget it. That's the best.
Yeah. It's hilarious, and also try to this is a family pod, so
right.
We didn't really want to talk and expand on that scene because for reasons.
Yes.
So.
All right.
I was a little concerned when we first agreed to do this topic because I was like, man, are we going to be able to get enough? But boy, was I mistaken. I was looking around just out of curiosity to see what if there were other people who had done this before. And I found a few things. There was one website I saw, some kind of movie website where they reviewed movies and stuff. And they had the top 30 quotes from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. So I was reading through that. That was pretty interesting to see what their list was. So obviously, as we said, all four of us really love this movie. And as I just said, there's at least 30 quotes from this movie, if not more, that you can easily point to and just laugh every time you see it, no matter how many times you've seen the movie. So trying to pick one is just really tough. But what I'm going to do here with this first one is kind of go a little obscure, maybe, is the scene where Dale and Neil hitch a ride to Kansas in the back of a truck that some person that Dale knows has arranged for them to try to get to, I think, Kansas, maybe. So, unfortunately, they have to ride in the back of the pickup truck, and it's freezing cold outside. And so they're riding down the road, and Dell says, "Beautiful country, though, isn't it?" And Neil says, "What do you think the temperature is?" And then Dell says, 1.
I can't tell you how many times that Phil and I have quoted that quote to each other.
I know.
Literally hundreds.
Over and over again. And that's a great pick, which, my first pick, I thought you were going a little bit earlier in that scene because that was my first pick. When they're sitting outside and they're waiting and here comes this truck, this beat up pickup truck. Is this him? And he stops and gets out of the car and the music just perfect with his steps over. And Dale says, "You Gus's son?" He goes, "I'm Owen." One of those deals. But the line that gets me in that whole thing is when they're going to pick up the case and they're getting ready to put it in the back of the truck, right? And he says, "Leave it be. Get your lazy behind out." She's short and small, but she's tough. And we got it. Seriously, it's heavy. Her first baby come out sideways. She didn't scream or nothing.
Or nothing.
Steve Martin just go, oh, and Dale goes, isn't that something? You're a little trooper. No, we got it, really. And then they pick it up and put it in the back of the truck.
Yep. That was on my list.
I like when he
funny scene.
I like when he says it too, like she didn't scream or nothing, and she like slams the truck door.
Yeah.
Like right. I don't know. It's just.
But also in that scene is when he's reaching out to shake hands, and he shakes Dale's hand, and then he spits and wipes his hand and reaches.
Which I watched that scene. I watched that scene on YouTube, and the woman actually commented on the video I happened to watch, and she said that they did that take over and over again. And I guess Steve Martin is like a germ freak, so the director told him to not wipe his hand, to cough in his hand or whatever, or spit, and not wipe it. And they didn't tell Steve Martin that. So he did it, and that's the take they kept because, you know, Steve, like, even though it was just like a second of like freaking out, like they said afterwards, like he was, when they cut the scene, like he went to wash his hands like repeatedly. And I thought that was like super interesting that she happened to comment on that. But,
yeah, that's great.
Funny. So, I don't know. I got a list here. You could just say the whole movie. It's just, so they're in the hotel with one bed, and they're getting ready. They're going to sleep, and John Candy obviously has to go through this routine when he goes to bed. He's cracking his knuckles. He's clearing his sinuses. And then all of a sudden you hear scratching. and they're showing past Steve Martin's eyes, like into John Candy. And Steve Martin's eyes are just like, because he's obviously scratching himself. But it just gets me every time. So that would be one of my, it's just very subtle, but again, it's just funny because he's doing this entire nighttime routine of, getting ready for bed, and it goes on from there. But that would be one of mine. I love that one.
3 good picks so far. I was sweating it there for a minute because I didn't realize, but I guess I shouldn't be surprised that we're all evidently fans of the unsung hero of that movie, Owen. Because I want to go back to that scene, and I don't know why. Maybe I'm the only one that just laughs uncontrollably every time I hear this line. But the line in particular is, the people train runs out of Stubbville. All right, because I'm like, who calls it a people train? But
less than you're a hog or a cattle.
You didn't say it right though. If you remember, he said, "People train runs out of Stubbville."
Oh, yeah, he does stutter, doesn't? Yeah, but yeah, man, I just that whole scene with Owen and his wife. I mean, it's just gold. So. All right, back to me. Another one of my favorite scenes is Dell has been taking a little bit of a snooze in the vehicle while
Neil.
John Candy's John Candy's character is driving. He ends up going the wrong way, as some very nice people who are driving in the correct direction try to point out to them. My favorite part of that whole scene, though, is like when Steve Martin's just like, "Yeah, how do they know where we're going? You're going the wrong way." What? And then John, it's like, "Oh, they're probably drunk." So I love that whole sequence. Just gets me every time. But yeah, how do they know where we're going?
Fantastic. You're up, Breeze.
No, you are.
Is it me?
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
This is a minor one, but we called out kind of some of the good ones. But so they finally get on a bus, right? And the bus, don't like bus rides. There's one part where Steve Martin gets caught looking, but at two people. But to pass time, they're singing. The entire bus is singing, and so Steve Martin goes, "Oh, I've got one," and he's obviously very high class, and he starts singing 3 coins and a fountain, and everybody's like, I literally have no idea what you're doing. And then John Candy breaks in with the Flintstones, and the entire bus starts singing. And it's just, I don't know, that one gets me. Like, I don't know where they found the song 3 coins and a fountain. Like, I don't know how they looked that up. But just the complete, that song is so out there that nobody would know it. I don't know. That one, that just gets me. I think that's hilarious.
That kind of leads into my pick because it seems like singing is a big part of this from these guys. That was one of them. The other was after the car burned up and they're driving down the highway and they're singing Blue Moon of Kentucky.
Yeah.
They're driving 78 miles an hour with their hoods and they're Kentucky, keep on shining. And they're passing cars and the cop finally pulls him over, Michael McKean, and he says, "Do you have any idea how fast you were going?" And he said, I was just talking to my friend about that. All of our instrument panels are burned up, so I really have no idea. But oddly enough, the radio works. It's clear as a bell. 78 miles an hour. 78. Well, yep, I can see that because you're the officer and you would know. And that whole scene when he says, I can't let you drive this thing. And he's saying, okay, you got me. I broke the law. But come here. He said, if you don't let me go, I'm not going to get my friend back home for Thanksgiving. And Steve Martin leans up and he just goes, just love that scene. That's a great
thing. You skipped the line in between that, though, is the one I like. It says, Michael McKean asks him, says, "Do you feel this vehicle is safe for highway travel?"
Yeah.
Dale looks at him and says, "Yes, yes, I do." It's not pretty to look at, but it gets you where you want to go.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Yeah, Breeze. That specific line was on my list.
All right, so since we talked about that scene, that's another good, real classic scene. I'll do another one. This is toward the end of the movie. Neil and Dale have separated once again for the time being, and Neil is going. I think this is shortly after the rental car scene, maybe, if I have my order correct. And Neil is leaving the airport, going out to catch a cab, and the person running the kind of cab area asked him where he's heading, and I think that at this point they're in Kansas City, and he says Chicago when he asks him where he's going, and the cab guy kind of has a strange look on his face, and he says, "What is that? Some kind of joke?" And then Neil says, "If I wanted a joke, I'd follow you into the John and watch you take a leak." And then the taxi guy punches him in the face, and he falls down in the street. And right at that moment, another cab comes screaming up toward him and slam on his brakes to keep from hitting Neil in the head. And Dale gets out. They talk, and he offers to take Neil in the cab with him, and he says something about getting his bags, and he says, "No, I get the bags. You just help my friend up." and the taxi guy gets his glove better on and says, "No problem." And grabs him in the groin area. And it's like, well, I've never seen anybody pull it up by their groin before.
One of the lines in there, Breeze, that you missed after he said I'd walk into the bathroom, watch you take a leak. He says, "Now, are you going to help me get a cab, or are you going to sit there like a slab of meat with mittens?" What? Great scene. It's good. Breeze or yeah?
Did you make 2, Breeze?
No.
Well, sort of, yeah.
Kind of. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I was going to go one way with this pick, but I think it'll still be around if we come back through, and I think we have time. But along those lines, those two, they just butted heads from the beginning, and they're arguing, and they're in the car, and they're talking. He says, what do I do that bugs you? And he goes, okay. You play with your balls. He says, I do not play with my balls. Larry Bird doesn't do as much ball handling as you do.
I love how Steve Martin takes umbrage to that. I do not play with my balls a lot.
Are you kidding me? Larry Bird. And he drops the Larry Bird reference in there. I'm like, I don't know why that cracks me up, but it does every time.
That's a good one.
All right.
That's a good one. All right. So this would be like a lot of these lines that I like, they're like, it's how John Candy delivers them. The line itself might not be funny, but how he delivers it is just great. So I think this is when they're waiting for Owen, and Steve Martin asks John Candy, says, do you have any like plastic, any credit cards? And John Candy says, I have a Chalmers credit card. It's a big and tall men's shop. It's a 7-outlet chain in the Pacific Northwest. Great stuff. Unfortunately, that's just no good here. It's just, again, the line, okay, whatever. But it's, again, how he delivers it is like, he's so disappointed that that card won't help them. Unfortunately, that's just no good here. So I love that. I love how he delivers it. I don't know. I laugh at that every single time. It's great.
Good one. That's a good one. All right. So it looks like we're going to have time to go back down.
Yep.
We'll have 2 in a row again.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to switch things up here just for a second because I think we're all in agreement this movie, as many times as we watch it, we laugh when we laugh and when we laugh. I think what kind of helps make it a great movie, there are a couple of moments that kind of, pull at the heartstrings a little bit. The end when they're walking down the street with the suitcase, and that's a great moment. When Dell realizes, that his friend, wife has passed away, and he goes back to the train station. That's a touching moment. The one that really gets me though is when Steve Martin, he's finally had enough. John Candy realizes he's went too far, and he's sitting out in the car after it's burned up in the snow, no hotel room, and he's just sitting there and he's talking to his wife, and just the moment when it just hits Steve Martin is like, this guy's driving me crazy, but I can't do this to this guy. And he's kind of looking him out the window, and then brings him in, and then they have that moment where you're drinking, the little travel shots of the rum and stuff, and I don't know, it's just as funny as that movie is. I think what really makes it a great movie is just, it's got such heart to it in scenes like that. So I'm gonna go with that.
They mixed in those scenes like perfectly. Like it's just enough, in between the comedy, obviously. And I like that scene because when John Candy's talking to his wife, just out in the blue. That's awesome.
Yeah. All right, for my last one, I guess in a way it's kind of another curveball for these picks because there's not actually a line in this scene or this moment. And I got to give a shout out to another 6'4" Holderby alum, because our buddy Hayner could do a perfect imitation of John Candy in this scene, and I got to experience it several times on long car rides with Hayner. I think he even got to the point where if he knew I was getting annoyed with him, like even in dorms, he would just do his imitation, and I was like, he's like a little puppy. You couldn't stay mad at him. But talking about when John Candy's driving the roundabout scene, and just his commitment to playing every instrument while he's driving. He's playing the piano. That's, Hayner did the saxophone thing perfect. I mean, it would just have me laughing every time he did it. But that's a great scene. So
doing the mess
that's my
around.
last one.
Yeah. Around. Yeah, I just watched it before we came on. That was a great scene.
All right,
how many times have we done that, right? I mean, we put ourselves in that position. We're driving down the road and we do, we're playing the keyboard and we're drumming and all that stuff. So, we can find ourselves in that position as well.
Oh, if you haven't done it with the Phil Collins song, the drums, I mean, are you even alive?
Yeah, we can't be friends if you don't do that.
That's 1,000% correct. I don't want to steal one, so I'm going to, because it's like one scene, but there's a couple different funny parts. But I'm going to take the back half of the scene. So I think it's their first night. They stay in the hotel. Obviously had a bad night. And they wake up, and the next morning, Steve Martin just is kind of, he laughs at himself, and he's just like, you know what? It's a new day. Let's try to figure it out. And he's looking in the mirror and just kind of laughs, and he puts his hands down in the sink in the water, and he splashes some water on his face, and he smells his hands. And then you hear this faint voice from the other room, and he says, "Neil, make sure to take my socks out of the sink if you're going to brush your teeth." And he looks down, and it's just like brown water with black socks floating in it. And just from then, I think probably Steve Martin knows it's just going to be another day. Just great. Love it.
That's the scene where he also pulls up the underwear, right? He holds up the underwear.
Yeah, that's in the sink too. He pulls it up.
There are so many great lines and scenes from that hotel. I mean, I'm not gonna jump on the one that everybody is thinking about, but my last pick is going to be one of those emotional moments. Neil has had enough, and he gets up and he's screaming, and he's talking about being a chatty Cathy Dawn. Da, da, da. So at that, all right. So that, I mean, it was funny the way he went off, but at the same time, you shift immediately to Dell, right? Yeah. And he's got the tears in his eyes, and he says, "You want to take a shot at me? Go ahead. I'm an easy target. But I like me. My wife likes me. My customers like me." And, Steve Martin, you can just see him get so small. And that's another thing where we can put ourselves in that situation too, where we've gone off and said something on somebody, and then all of a sudden they turn it around like that and say, "Look, I'm me. Everybody likes me, and, I'm an easy target. Go ahead and pick on me if you want to." But, you just feel bad about that. But I mean, that was another one of those emotional things where you're just like, oh man, he feels terrible. Feels absolutely terrible. But again, that's the great thing of the contrast to this movie that Sags was talking about. You have so many funny lines, but at the same time, there's so many emotions that pull you a lot of different ways, and that's what makes this a great film.
Well, we've all been with the Del Griffith, right?
Yeah.
We've
all been Neil. We have all been Neil.
We have one at our work, right? Yeah. And they're not doing anything wrong. They're good people. But it's like, bro, stop talking for a minute, man.
Yeah.
And you can't say it because they're not doing anything. They're just talking to you, man. They're just trying to be friendly. But it's like, if you're not that personality, it wears on you. Yeah. And you're just like, dude, I need a day, man. Like, please stop talking.
Oh, and Sags, by the way, when you're telling that story, have a point.
Yeah.
It makes it so much more interesting for the listener.
No, man, no, that is such a great scene because it's a perfect example of because like we've all been there where we've had enough, but then we've also been there where okay, we went one step too far.
Yeah.
Yep.
One of Neil's other lines when he's going off on Dale in that scene is he was talking about him ignoring him on the flight, and he goes, "I was reading the vomit bag. Didn't that give you a clue?" Okay, is it me?
Yep.
Okay. What's our time?
We're good. I think
Okay.
I haven't seen anything pop up to warn us.
Okay.
Gives us a 30-second warning. So
Yeah. All right. So the scene I'm going to go with is pretty early in the movie, and the guys have just found out that there's going to be some weather issues on their travels, and Neil is holding out hope that things are going to work out okay. But as the early sign of the movie that things are going to go south quickly, Dale has a different opinion. And his remark to Neil is, $6 in my left nut says we're not landing in Chicago.
the best part of that is he kind of like wakes up, like he's sleeping on his
Yeah.
shoulder.
Yeah.
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 As
I don't think anybody will mention it. So
who-
real quick, go ahead, Johnson.
as someone who's basically traveled nonstop, for 6 straight years, would just have that intuition to just yeah, we're not leaving. I mean,
Similar to that, $6 in my left nut. I don't think anybody will pick it, so I just want to throw it in. Like when he says we got a better chance of playing pickup sticks with our butt cheeks.
That's one of my favorite lines. I use that all the time, regardless of situation. Okay.
Yeah,
Are we going back around?
we got time,
We got, well, Breeze can pick a second one, though.
Oh, okay.
or we can just throw out honorable mentions.
Yeah, let's do some
Yeah.
honorable.
All right.
What I had is Neil saying kind of toward the end of the movie, and I think he's struggling to pay for something. So I can't remember now because it's been like a week since I've seen the movie, but he's struggling to find some money to pay for something, and he says, "Please have mercy on me. I've been wearing the same underwear since Tuesday." And then Dell says, "I can vouch for that."
Dell leans in. I can vouch for that.
That's true.
I like when they get the taxi, and it's Doobie's Taxiola, and Steve Martin's like, "Where's he taking us?" And again, it's how John Candy delivers this line. He's like, "He's taking us on a tour of the town. The man's proud of his town. That's a damn rare thing these days." And I don't know if you guys noticed, but Doobie was the guy that played Kramer on Seinfeld when they did the Seinfeld show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Kramer.
Yeah.
The
one
and
that
my
stole
only
Jason.
other one, I'll let you guys throw some out. Obviously, the "Where's your other hand" is
Yeah.
probably one of the most classic lines from the movie. I like just slightly before that when they first wake up in the morning and they're all cuddled together, obviously. And John Candy lightly leans over and kisses Steve Martin's ear, like you would your wife, obviously. It's just so just a little peck on the ear. And they both smile because they haven't realized where they're at yet. Just awesome. Awesome.
I don't know the exact amount that Dell had when he was trying to get the hotel room, but he said, "I have $6 for Casio."
He rolls it on his arm.
Casio.
If the movie studios are watching, please do not remake this movie.
yeah, but yeah, don't touch it.
I like
And I
Kevin
figure they
Hart.
are watching. So yeah,
Just
that goes
please don't.
for all of us. Yes.
They had talked
Because-
about remaking it, didn't they?
Man,
Was this one they
That-
talked about remaking?
It's Kevin Hart,
Yeah.
Kevin Hart, and somebody.
No.
And I like Kevin Hart. Like, he's funny, but like, please don't remake this movie.
Yeah.
I like.
oh boy, those are just the moments you don't get back.
I like the scene. The scene when they're in the bus there toward the end, and the guy and the girl are making out, and they're kind of laying down, like covering the seats, and they're kind of making out, and Dale kind of hits Neil with the elbow. Look, 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 look. And so Neil looks over and is watching them make out and stuff, and then they lean up and look back and say, "Why don't you take a picture? It'll last longer."
And then Neil says, or Dale says, "Oh, you got busted. You got busted."
Like when they're, I think the car caught on fire for the first time. And so they realize everything. And Steve Martin punches John Candy in the stomach. And the next scene is like, you shouldn't punch a guy in the stomach like that. That's how Houdini died.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to mention that one here in a second.
That whole scene was pretty good because they're looking at the car and it's burning up
Yeah.
and they're laughing their heads off. And then,
And the
how did
whole
you even rent a car like that? It's like, I just sold the girl some shower curtain rings.
Yeah.
You can't do that, Dale. You can't do that. And then it was the whole thing about the Diners Club card in his
Yeah.
wallet.
Yeah.
You stole it.
Yeah. It's like, no, I put
Like-
it back in there. And then that was the line I had on my list that he puts, telling them that he's put it back in there. It's like, why would you put it in there, Neil? Kindness?
I like when he's selling the shower curtain rings and he goes, they're filled with helium, so they're very light.
Oh man. So how many of us in this thing can recite the entire rental car scene at the counter without, dropping the bad word 26 times in a row?
I could probably come close, but
Yeah, I know myself. I would screw it up somehow. So I mean, I'd like to think that I could, but I would get something mixed up.
May I help you?
the best part of that is
Yes.
right before when she's on the phone and she's talking to her friend and,
And
she
she's
goes,
like, yeah, I agree.
Yep.
and then I forgot one. There's Neil asks when they get, I think, to the first hotel, he goes, do you still take those discount cards? And he's like, well, I got to charge you for a double, but with the discount, it'll come out even. It's like, well, it's the same thing. Like, what's the point of a discount card? It reminded me of Rube when he used to get on the speaker at Ripley, and he'd be like, if you buy 2 hot dogs at regular price, you get the second one free. Like, what? That's
Oh,
that was most of mine.
yeah, there were so many, and we didn't even mention, when they split the 2 semis, and everything's just going, and John Candy's character turns into Satan, and they're screaming, and oh man, that was such a funny scene. Good movie.
That scene that Breeze mentioned when I think it was Breeze Johnson, whatever, when they he's doing the round and he gets his coat caught, right?
Yeah.
And then he like Steve Martin finally wakes up and he goes, "Why are you sweating?"
You got to
It's
take your
just
coat
a
off.
deer. Yeah, man, you should take your coat off. I'll do that. I will do that. Classic.
Great film.
You said you watch it every Thanksgiving, Johnson?
Yeah,
Same.
yeah. That's that's more of a tradition anymore than watching football for me. I mean, and that's not like meant to be like a dig at the NFL. I just, I'm like, no, this is the day I watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I
Yeah.
don't care who's playing.
Well, to be fair, the NFL always puts on the Lions and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So
There was one other scene that was pretty good in the hotel, and it kind of goes to what Sags has been saying about how it's not so much the line that they deliver, it's how they deliver them. And it's the first time that they're in the hotel, when the guy breaks in and he steals their stuff during the night, and then Neil gets up and looks in his wallet and sees all the money's missing, and he accuses Dell of stealing his money. And they realize that there's some other stuff missing too. And Dell says, "We were robbed." And then Neil goes, "You think so?"
Love that line.
Man.
I think I messed up on the name of that. It's not the Roundabout. I think it's the Mess Around.
Yeah, it's the
I think
Mess
that's the
Around.
name of the song.
Ray
The
Charles.
Mess Around.
Ray Charles.
worries.
Mess
But,
Around.
We got you.
But good soundtrack too. Like somebody, me and my wife are huge fans of Steve Earle.
Oh.
Man, when that song at the end starts playing, and they're like Bree said, they're walking. I think Bree said it. They're walking up the street with the suitcase. When that song hits, that's a wrap, man.
Yeah.
I'm out.
That and that
Tears.
music with that scene, to me, that's as an iconic '80s music scene. As anything that's got lyrics or it's a little more popular. Just like when I hear like that beat, I'm like, I'm right there in that movie. So
That's just like the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Don't you forget about me.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
just
yeah.
that same vibe. I agree.
Every Time You Go Away from Paul Young.
Yes, sir.
It's just a great song. Great song.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Well, I guess
That's
that's
about
it. I mean, I never got the thing popping up saying you got 5 minutes left. So, I mean, we've been going at this for about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
Close.
yeah, good show. Good time. All right. So, what's next? Who's up next? Make sure you viewers out there, both of you, hit that subscribe button.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button.
give us a thumbs up. I think it's Breeze's turn to pick. So
What you got, Breeze?
I don't know. I think
So I assume we're not
Get
going
back
next
on
week.
that.
Is that
That's
we're
Christmas.
not going next week?
Yeah.
let's take a week.
And
off.
will we? So the week after is New Year's. Are we going on New Year's? I'm good with New
Yeah.
Year's. I don't do anything anyway. So
Yeah. So this is the last show of the year,
this is it, man.
and we didn't have a countdown or anything.
no.
Our best moments.
Well,
I don't know if we have enough to fill 40 minutes.
New Year's, that will just get in at the last minute on 2021 if we go on a Wednesday. Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go Wednesday or
The 30th.
I'm off December 26th. That's Saturday. I could, because after Christmas, I'm good. Like I done.
yeah.
I mean, I do celebrate Boxing Day, but I am willing to.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll
And-
forego that.
Speaking of which, I mean, we could have a podcast on how bad the song "Last Christmas" is from Wham. Or
I saw you tweet that.
oh my gosh, Taylor Swift or the cast of Glee. I was in the store today and that song came on. I don't know what version it was, but it's just a terrible song about a guy who gets dumped the day after Christmas. It doesn't mention anything about Christmas trees or snow or Santa Claus or reindeer or Jesus or anything like that. It's not a song about Christmas. It's like you got dumped the 26th and that's it. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, and the next day you gave it away, and it's over. And the guy that tweeted that initially, John Bacon, said, look, that's 8th grade. You got to get over this and move on.
Yeah. I mean, at first I thought that was just like a kind of an unusual hot take from you, but I started thinking about it. Like, no, you're actually right. But I do think the Glee cast, when Leah Michelle sings that song, and I'm not like a huge Glee fan or anything, but I mean, I'm not necessarily defending the song. I'll just say like her performance and just she hits that high note in that song. I'm like, wow, this chick can sing. So
That's like Yap texted me the other day. He goes, "You like Little Drummer Boy?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can take it or leave it." And he sent me a song. Was it Kings and Country?
For King and Country. Yeah.
For King and Country. They banged it out, man. I was like, that's legit. So yeah, I can see where you'd hear a song from somebody else, and it was really good.
They did it live on the CMA Country Christmas or something like that, and they came out and they tore it up. I'm like, holy crap, this is good.
Yeah, that was legit.
Yeah.
All right. So
are we going to go next Saturday, or? Yeah.
It's everybody's favorite Christmas song.
I'll go.
Yeah. No, just
right now.
Since we won't be doing anything next Christmas or next week for Christmas.
All right.
I have two. One is Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer. Because my dad loved that song, and I think it's very funny. And the other one is Silent Night, and mainly because I'm pretty sure, well, it's Silent Night regardless, but I think that's the one they play at A Christmas Story at the very end when the mom and dad are sitting on the couch after Christmas and the snow's falling outside. It's just like, and I grew up in Indiana, which is where that movie's filmed, so it just kind of was a reminder of Christmas as a kid when it used to snow before climate change.
Yeah.
And that one hits me. So Silent Night and Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer.
It's funny you mentioned those two because I started a new feature at Connect Bridgeport where I talk to athletes and just ask them a bunch of questions like what their favorite movie is. And I try to like throw in some seasonal ones. So I've been doing some Christmas ones. I've been asking them what their favorite Christmas song is. And the same two songs you mentioned have been the most common answers. So
I'm very down with the kids, Johnson.
yeah, I get it, man. I get it. No, I'm a big I love Silver Bells, but I think that's my I love Silver Bells and I like Winter Wonderland a lot. I think they're probably my favorite.
Mine is hands down, without question, "Oh Holy Night," and everybody has their own version of it. But Josh Groban, when he sings "Oh Holy Night," I mean,
good.
Whoo, man! It'll just give you the chills and the feels and all of it, man. Because he just can sing. Of course, we know that, but
yeah, I just heard his version before this podcast, just when I was out driving back home. So yeah,
man. Killer.
What about you, Breeze?
I can't think of one that stands out that has any kind of special meaning for me.
Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph, Baby It's
Cold
like Outside.
Maybe the Grinch. Sounds like maybe the Grinch is your favorite song.
Yeah.
I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. Dominic the Donkey. Anything like that?
You know what's funny is the song Baby It's Cold Outside. I had never, ever heard that song until Elf came out. Never heard it.
Wow.
And now if you ask me my top three, it would be my third favorite. Yeah. I love that song. And I hate how culture, it's about date rape. I'm like, oh my gosh. Did y'all stop? Like, can we not cancel a song? Is that possible?
Yeah, they tried.
So that would be my third favorite.
Other than Last Christmas.
Well, that's the given.
I'll shut this thing down right now.
Scene.
I will shut this thing down right now. You take that back. The terrible song. Nobody should ever sing it. It should never be played again. Sign my petition at change.org, by the way, to eliminate that song from pop culture. It's up there.
It's right. If anyone can't find it, it's right next to the petition for bringing back great pop culture.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm going to look this up, and I'll send you all the link. I think Last Christmas is the song that the video that they redid in 4K. Like they took the 1980s version and they like bumped it up to 4K and it looks like ridiculously good. I know that doesn't help with the song, but it was just interesting that they put that music video in 4K. I'm like, man, that looks fantastic. It's great. You have to listen to the song, unfortunately, but
I'm not watching that. No.
Oh, I'm sending it.
They could have put 4K on "Wake Me Up Before You Go Go." I would have been fine with that, but
we'll look it up right now.
And
are we meeting next week or passing? Are we meeting next week or passing?
I don't know, man. I'm sure no one wants to do it on Christmas Eve on Thursday, but
Right.
I mean, if we can, if I can get through Monday, I mean, my next week will be a little light, for a while. So I mean, I'd be good Wednesday, but I mean, if everyone wants to pass and just come back in between Christmas and New Year's, that's cool.
I'm the same. I open every day except Monday, so I'm good. Tuesday, Wednesday,
Yeah.
Saturday, whatever.
I could do Wednesday.
A week from Wednesday. Right?
No, next Wednesday. No.
The 23rd. Yeah, I'm
Oh.
off on the 23rd, so
Yeah.
I'm good there.
Are you good next Wednesday, Breeze?
Yeah.
That was very committed, Breeze.
Yeah.
That was good.
Isn't that something? You're a little trooper.
Just for the record, you mentioned earlier our two fans. This guy I used to work with in a newspaper in Arizona, he sent me a note on Facebook a couple weeks ago saying that he's watched a couple of the podcasts that I've posted, and he says we're doing a good job. Keep it up.
All right. That's a start.
We got our fan. We need some merch.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Speaking of merch, I've been meaning to say this. I keep forgetting. When I was in Huntington last month for the football game, I went by Holderby Hall and I snapped a photo of the Holderby Hall sign that's on Fifth Avenue, and I thought I was going to send that to SAGS and kind of crop that in a little bit tighter and use it for our Twitter header or something.
I can do it. Send it. Got you.
That'll work. All right.
You realize Holderby is where they're sticking all the COVID positive students.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's like the quarantine building.
Nice.
Seventh floor, no doubt.
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah. I thought they put him over in Buskirk. That was always known as the Crab Shack anyway, right?
What's the one they tore down? Was that Jenkins? It was Jenkins that they tore down, right? The one that was in front of Holderby, because that's not there anymore.
That was Hodges.
Oh yeah, Hodges.
Yeah, Hodges. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, make sure you hit like and subscribe, and whatever the kids say. What do they say? They say mash that like button. Is that how it goes? Yeah. Never mind. Okay. Until next time.